Drink it in, man.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread! Cornbread! Cornbread!
Drink it in, man.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread!
Detroit Koolaid. Detroit Koolaid drinkers. Let me fill up your glass real quick. Drink it in, man. You know what goes well with Detroit cornbread, with that delicious Honolulu blue flavored Kool-Aid. Double-sided cornbread.
Cornbread! Cornbread!
I'm fired up. My voice is kind of coming back. It'll probably crack multiple times during this episode from that last Sunday evening in Ford Field where we buried Matt Stafford and the LA Rams. The most electric environment I've ever been in at a sporting event ever. Incredible win by our Lions. We talked all about it. We had a bunch of fun. But we're back here on a double dip Friday here on the Koolaid Cast, talking about previewing the Tampa Bay Bucs coming to Ford Field, the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, one game away from the NFC Championship, which could be played at Ford Field or could be maybe played on the West Coast. But and I don't even know what to tell you. I don't even have to tell you what happens after that, right? That's called the Super Bowl. But we're here to take care of business, preview you for Tampa Bay. And you know the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only. He goes by one name, Chops. Choppy Chop is back. You can find him on Twitter at ChopsInTheD. He's here. He's ready to yell on the microphone and probably talk about Jared Goff way too much. Chops, what's going on, buddy?
DKC listeners, Friday bonus show. Exclamation point. Woo! Oh, baby, it feels good to record twice in a week as a winner of a playoff game and ready to host another game, Ford Field, Sunday at 3 p.m. Oakley, let's go!
Let's do this. It's incredible, man. Like, I'm so fired up. And I mean, you even talked offline about how, like, this is the greatest year of football for guys like me and you that we've ever experienced in our entire life. I mean, the Michigan Wolverines are the national champions in college football. The Detroit Lions not only... What's that?
I said hail to the victors, buddy.
Of course. The Detroit Lions won the NFC North. Then they vanquished their former quarterback in dramatic fashion at home. We set decibel records. And now me and you are here again having fun on the Koolaid Cast, serving up Kool-Aid for the fans, the loyal, diehard Detroit Kool-Aid drinkers, with Baker Mayfield coming to town. And Chops, I often say we can't mess around, and we really can't, because I was going through players on offense, defense, rankings. I got big things to talk about. Like, I'm so fired up for this game, but I feel like I might have a few more concerns than you and other people do. I like a few of these players on all sides of the football for them, but I'm obviously ultra confident about how our Lions are playing as well. So this should be a fun preview and all types of topics to get into. So I say we don't mess around. We just get right into it.
I mean, Oakley, isn't all we do mess around? I mean, it's two guys talking football, loving the Lions. All we are doing is messing around, but we're having a good time while we're doing it, and we're bringing it for the people.
Yes, sir!
I know what you were going for, but I was on the Rip Hamilton drop. Here you go.
And the people consist of the millions.
So So here's where I'm at, Chops. Like you said, we could get into all types of side topics. We already talked about the other game. Let me just tell you a little bit about the Tampa Bay Bucs real quick. So when I look at this football team, I mean, I could do gimmicks and jokes all day about the quarterback and how I did plenty of pods on this show about saying his name funny, which has morphed into all types of other things. I think I maybe have ranked him as a top 1 or 2 quarterback in fantasy multiple times back in the day. But I want to start on the defensive side of the ball, man, because Antoine Winfield is one of my favorite players in football. This guy flies all over. He's a turnover machine, just a great player at safety. Then you start going down their list. Vita Vea, just a big human in the middle that can run. You got Levante David, who's like 50 years old, but all he does is make tackles and make plays. You got my boy, Devin White, guy I wanted in the draft. I thought it would be a good idea to pair him with Jared Davis. Half of that was a mistake, and that the half that was a mistake was not Devin White, who's an absolute ball player. I know he has a few things against him, but he runs, hits, tackles, and makes plays. How about my boy Kalijah Cansey on defense? They got Tryon Shrinka. They got Dean at corner. I'm going through my boy Logan Hall up front. They got this kid Diaby, number 0, that can do some things. Shaq Barrett's still out there rushing the passer. Like, I'm just naming off people, and people are like, oh, Curry, why are you talking about Tampa? I thought this was a Lions pod. It is. I feel like we have to deal with those players on defense. I just named guys on the D-line, linebacker, corner, and safety that can all play ball. So I feel like we kind of have our work cut out for us, but those guys have to deal with Amon-Ra as well as Demo. And then you got the multi-dimensional, positionless, elite weapon. And do I even have to get into Sammy Biscuits? And they also have a quarterback, which I'm sure you'll talk about. I mean, I think this is going to be fun to watch. Our offense versus their defense. That's the number one matchup I got on my mind right now.
Oakley, the only thing that was going through my mind as you were listing off all these bumpskis from Tampa Bay was Decker's going to push him around. Ragnasty's going to make him look dumb. Penny is going to beat that boy down. Like,
you were just thinking fail
and the
music the whole
hashtag.
time.
No, dude. Listen, Jared Goff and the hashtag Goff train and this offense in riding the train are just gonna bowl over the defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, I know they've got players. I'm not taking anything away from them, but that's right. They're gonna put them down to their knees. They can't handle us, and they ain't tough enough, right, Beetlejuice?
Exactly. I tried to drop it behind you, but I'll give it to you full.
They can't handle me. They ain't tough enough yet.
We understand, Beetlejuice. We understand.
Yeah, I understand. I got it in my head, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, so now that we got Beetlejuice in the mix here, we got a 3-way call going. Listen. They ain't tough enough. Again, I'm not poo-pooing on the Tampa Bay defense. They've had some good stats this year. They've been solid. They've held opponents to, significantly less points than us this year, but they haven't faced an offense like the Detroit Lions. Going into the playoffs, Oakley, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat one playoff team, and it was Green Bay. Okay? One. They have not played an elite offense like we have. They have not played a great quarterback like we have. Woo-wee! They have not played Amon-Ra or Jahmyr Gibbs or D-Money. We are an offensive machine that the Tampa Bay Bucs have not seen yet, and we're going to steamroll them.
Ben Johnson, I love you. Ben Johnson, you are my hero.
Chops, all good stuff there. I mean, again, let's add another gimmick to your repertoire. You've started to use kudos way too much, which is just a ridiculous word that I would never use in normal speak or in public. Let's add poo-poo to your list, because anybody that says that in a sentence, I lose a little respect for him, I must say. That's a horrible phrase to use at any level. It's just not
it's a good. Thing
I'll let that
in the first place. So
I'll let that slide on multiple levels, because you got the gimmicks in and you brought a take, even though I interrupted you multiple times because I wanted to do drops. Like, I just name off the ball players and the talents and it gets me excited. But then, like you said, you look at these rankings, you look what we're doing against people, and it's like, I mean, it could be a laugher. It really could. Or it could be a real tough football game. Like, let me move to the offensive side of the ball for Tampa, since we named off all the Lions ball players, and you hit on the offensive line, which was tremendous because that's where we start here in Detroit. But you move over to Tampa's offense, you're looking at Mike Evans. What's he got? 8,000-yard seasons in a row? Yeah, he'll drop some passes. Yeah, he gets hurt every other play. But he also makes plays and scores touchdowns every time I turn on his tape as well. You got my boy Chris Godwin. You've got your boy White back there running and catching out of the backfield. You got my boy Cade Otton, who I wanted to be a Detroit Lion before we got Sammy Biscuits, and I will definitely live with that trade-off. We got the guy I mentioned before. It goes something like this. Wonder if I could do this in my voice. Baker Mayfield. Going all the way back to the day with that. They got this kid Palmer who's got speed. They got David Moore, who I liked in the draft and just fell out of favor, did nothing in Seattle, and now he's scoring 50-yard touchdowns at will. They got the kid out of Central Michigan, Gadecki, on the offensive line. They got Tristan Wirfs, who's an absolute beast. And they got Cody Mock from North Dakota State as well up front. So, again, about 10 names, wide receivers, running backs, a quarterback that's playing decent ball, offensive linemen that are okay. So, tell me about some of the defenders for the Detroit Lions and do them in gimmicks as best you can of guys that are just going to shut all those guys down.
Let me tell you something, Okri. You know what? Hang on a second. Let me. Well, let me tell you something, brother. Okay. Did you see how much we battled and battered Matt Stafford last week? Do you think that Baker Mayfield is going to be able to handle the pressure? I mean, Stafford was, cut on his hand. They were like, oh, he played with broken ribs. Oh, he couldn't hear anything. But you think your boy Baker Mayfield is going to be able to deal with 133 decibels of Ford Field madness the entire time from snap 1 to snap 4 that they have the ball every offensive possession? He's going to be like, look, holding his helmet. I can just see his little freaky, shaky little eyes. Oh, gosh, I can't hear anything. Look at this guy. He's going to get me. Oh, my God, that touch. Oh, that's Kaminsky. And he's going to be scrambling and rumbling around, and he's going to get friggin' smoked. Okay, they're going to bring all kinds of things. Did you hear that James Houston is coming back? Okay, we got him on one side. We got Hutch on the other. We got your boy, Aleem, a.k.a. that's his nickname because he's got so many. We got Kaminsky. We got Campbell. We got Anzalone. I mean, then again, that's just the front. Okay, this defense is going to make Baker Mayfield make bad decisions. Period. Point blank. Bad decisions. And when he makes those bad decisions, okay, you know who's going to be ready to go? My boy, CJ, that's my GJ. Your boy and my boy, the best first name in all of football, Brian Branch. And then, oh, by the way, well, how about we call him a little bit of Dirty Kirby, since everybody seems to think this guy's so dirty, even though he's not. But that dude's going to ball hawk as well. So again, they're going to pressure Baker Mayfield. They're going to beat through that line that you just listed off. Oh, ho, hum, this guy's from North Dakota State, blah, blah. I don't care. You can't stop Hutch. And when you make Baker Mayfield make bad decisions, which he will do, our secondary is going to ball hawk all day long.
Unleash Hutch. Unleash Hutch. I'm ready to unleash Hutch.
I'm like, that's Baker Mayfield right there. Baker. Yeah, I just want to let you know. He sucks, okay? Yeah, there you go. Mark it down.
There's a few classics for everybody.
That's a good
Hutch against Baker Mayfield. And I was trying to interrupt you there, but you just went on an incredible rant. And the only reason I was trying to interrupt you in the first 5 seconds of that rant is, Chops, we got a little extra time in this first segment. You seem a little fired up. Do we want to take, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes and just talk about Matt Stafford for a minute and how we beat the hell out of him and the things he had to say and the things he said since and the things that came out on video? Do we want to do that or rant for the people, or do we want to just leave that to the Twitterverse and leave it behind? What do you think?
I'm a little torn on this because, personally, I'd love to air my grievances. I have not cared for that person or his, blondie wife and her mouth for most of the time they were in Detroit. But I feel like I don't even want to validate them by talking about them any further. We beat them. We beat them physically. We beat them mentally. We booed him. No one booed your kids, Kelly. No one booed your freaking kids. Okay? Like, don't give me that boola. We destroyed you on the field and off the field. Go back to LA, cry to somebody who cares, talk about how Kirby Joseph is dirty and blah, blah, blah. Or maybe don't throw passes that leave your receivers to be in that position. Okay? I said I didn't want to talk about him because I don't want to validate it. And now I'm freaking fired up and talk about it again. Come on, okay.
I thought I could bait you into that. And this is all I want to say. Again, you guys can find me on Twitter at Derek Okrie. That's spelled DEREK. OKRIE. And what I had to say is, like, I'm a guy that owns multiple Stafford jerseys, way too many Stafford jerseys. A good handful of those have now been redone into JMO number 9, which I'm happy to say. But like, I put it nice and frankly in a couple tweets. I like the guy when he's here as our quarterback. I like watching him throw the football. He did a lot of things in the community. But, like, I'm losing more and more respect for this guy, like you said, based on his wife's actions. But Matt Stafford thought he was going to say a whole bunch of things in the media, laugh it up. Oh, I'm the enemy. I know what's coming. I'll see what happens. The minute he got booed by the Detroit fans, he tried to be Tommy Tough Guy again. Oh, bring it on. Bring that bleep on. Then he tried to ball out. Then when he came up short, like he did so many times in the Honolulu Blue, unfortunately, and like you say, he's got tape on his fingers, tape on his elbow, holding his shoulder. Oh, I hit my head on the turf. It's the same story, man. This guy looks like he's coming out of the ER after every game, but he came up short, and then you're going to come up and have the audacity to come at Kerbo? Why? Because he made a play and your guy didn't catch it, so you couldn't kick a late-minute field goal and then go pompous, oh, I love the city, what a great experience. Instead, you lost, and you were a reason why, and you had to give no love to the city. You say you're only happy for the players. It's just so funny how everything turned, and like you said, when I saw that thing with Kerbo, I just lost respect. And I was like, man, like, is this what Stafford was doing as our quarterback? Because some people would be like, oh, look at, he's so tough. He's getting after people. He's swearing. He's doing this. It's like, I just thought it was cheap. A quarterback never takes a hit in his life or never gives a hit, yet he's telling our guy he's dirty, did this, I see this on tape. Yeah, do you all see Kerbo picking off Hall of Famers left and right? You see him doing that? You see him flying up the field and making tackles all over because I see that too. Okay, he had 2 hits that injured people. Tough. There's a lot of other players that injure people too, and I don't hear a lot of other quarterbacks crying or coming after people like they're going to do something about it. I'm pretty sure I got Kerbo versus Stafford if we're really going to throw down. So, I mean, like you say, we could go on it for days, but like I say, I know there's so many. I'm getting hit up, Chops, by so many people that are Matt Stafford lovers, apologists, and like I clicked on a lot of their profiles and they all have like 6 followers, 12 followers. They're don't even have any Rams. I don't even know why they support this guy, but they're coming at me like, how dare you say something? Oh, the Detroit fans are so embarrassing, classless. It's like, why? Because we booed the opposing quarterback in a playoff game? Why? Because he shot his mouth off and we're supposed to just sit here and take it? Oh, they're going to call out our city and our players and we're just going to sit back and agree with it? Not going to happen. So that was about 5 minutes between you, Choppy. I feel better now. How about you?
Yeah, I want to put a bow on this topic, right? I think I texted this. I think I texted this to you. Then we'll move on. Matt Stafford thought he was coming in here and he was gonna knock around his old team. That's what he thought. He thought he was gonna come in here. He thought he was gonna smack us around, and he was gonna treat us like the SOL. But what he didn't know is that we are the brand new Lions, and the only reason we got our asses smacked around him was because of him. So it's over. It's done. Now you're getting your butt smacked around by us because we're better than you and we're tougher than you, and you can't handle it. So now he's all butthurt. There's some more of your poo-poo talk. He's butthurt because he thought that he was going to beat us and it got out of hand. And he didn't realize we did now what he could never do for us then. Okay. But that was then and this is now. It's a new team. It's Jared Goff's team. It's Dan freaking Campbell, the alpha male, as you like to call him's team. This is Brad, always open for business's home team. And this is Sheila the Hamp. It's her team, not yours, Matt. You're gone. Goodbye. Go back to LA. Cry a little more. Take your blondie and your kids with you. Nothing against the kids. I love kids. But still, It's ridiculous. And let's wrap it up and move on because I don't want to hear about it.
We are moving on from Matty Stafford, his family, and the big L that he took in the D. Because we showed up, the crowd showed up, our city showed up, our team showed up. Chops, let's get back to Tampa Bay. So I gave you the offense, I gave you the defense. There are ball players that I'm concerned about, but we're here to hype up the Lions, man. And I feel like we are riding high with confidence. This is in our house. This is probably the best matchup we could have asked for. Like, if you were just like, hey, Oakley, who would you want to play in the division round if everything went perfect? I'd be like, give me Tampa Bay. Because like you said, you hit on it. Like, Baker Mayfield is a guy that he's hot right now. He's making some plays, but he's the type of guy that with that crazy crowd, I guarantee there's going to be some false starts. There's going to be some timeouts. There's going to be some happy feet. There's going to be some bad throws to the other team. Like, that's the kind of player he is, where he's going to get knocked around as well by Hutch and AKA everything up front. Like, it's going to be a long day for this player, and I think that's the best quarterback matchup because I still have a lot of respect for the calmness, the ability Jalen Hurts plays with, and some of these other quarterbacks. But the erratic play and the toughness and the grit and the always a tough ball player that Baker Mayfield lives on. That's not going to fly when chaos is right in his face all day, from the crowd to our front line to our ball hawks on defense. So as much as I love some of their talents, I love this matchup for so many reasons, and so does Vegas with like a touchdown favorite for the Lions. We'll get through some rankings later that favor the Lions. Like, I'm feeling real good heading into this commercial break with our great sponsors. I'm feeling real good playing Tampa Bay for the chance to play for the NFC Championship. And I'm feeling real good about Detroit, Ford Field, and everybody showing up big again, trying to get another Dubski.
Did you see that somebody had the audacity to rank Baker Mayfield in the top 5 list of quarterbacks left in the playoffs and leave Jared Goff off of that list? Did you happen to see that nonsense on the Twitterverse or on ESPN or some other show? Did you see that, Oakley?
Cornbread.
That's disrespectful.
That was a disgraceful performance in my.
That's disgraceful. I mean, how could you do that? And when you said top 5, I'm like, isn't there only there's only 8 left, so you almost got to be in the top 5 of guys left. But yeah, I mean, if he's anywhere above Jared Goff, that's Detroit disrespect and just somebody not knowing what they're talking about. Kind of like the Tampa reporter that asked their coach, how are you going to deal with the elements in Detroit? And he was like, you know they play on a dome, right? Okay. Classic exchange between one bumski and a nerd that's a head coach in Todd Bowles. So I found that hilarious. I find some of the things on their football team hilarious. I think the score has a chance to maybe be hilarious, but we got to give everybody their kudos, their respect, their whatever. And that's what I'm trying to do today, when really I'm feeling that Detroit Koolaid cornbread. I'm ready for this football game.
Couldn't agree more, Oakley. I think it's, a couple of things here about talking about Tampa's defense, right? So, a lot of people are touting their defense, but do you realize that our defense actually was better in total yards per game against in passing and rushing? Did you realize that? Okay. I don't know if you did. Maybe some people didn't, but it was. Okay. Yes. There are other defensive rankings where they're higher than us, but there's somewhere we're better than them. And also, Oakley, did you realize that our defense has not allowed 70 rushing yards from a running back all season? Okay. Wow. That is insane. Wow. Yes, Frank Ribble. Totally insane. I know people are like, at one point in time, they were freaking about the lack of a pass rush that we have. And yeah, it needed a little bit of work, but do you realize how ridiculous it is to go an entire season, 18 games now, and not give up a rusher of over 70 yards? It's crazy to me. So, we've got some studs on defense too, Oakley, and I think it's going to be a good matchup. Now, before we hit the commercial break, I will tell you, since you wanted to come out and say you have some concerns here and there, the one thing that we need to pay attention to, and the Detroit Lions need to be aware of, is that the Tampa Bay Bucs were +8 in turnovers. Okay. So during the regular season, they got at it. Okay. They were able to get the ball in some turnovers. That's a key point for our Lions. We were a net 0, had the same amount of turnovers as we created. So we need to be aware of that. That's something that Dan freaking Campbell, Ben Genius, and Aaron Glenn are going to be aware of, and they're going to have our boys ready to play. So, that's the only kudos you're going to hear from me given to Tampa Bay is their +8 turnover ratio in the regular season. Other than that, all Lions all day.
It sounds to me like you gave a little bit of kudos, but you did a lot of poo-pooing here in this first segment, which makes me laugh on multiple levels. So, Chops, let's get our wonderful sponsors in here. They keep the show going. All you people that check out the show and go to Reality Sports Online or go to Spotify or, gosh, all our other great sponsors that we have. Really helps us out, as well as you amazing DKC Select members that donate to the show, get that bonus content. People that call up the Kool-Aid hotline, we appreciate all that, especially the Twitter love and the funny gimmicks that we do on there to keep you guys going and have some fun. So everybody's drinking that Detroit Kool-Aid, Chops. Let's get our great sponsors in. We come back, man. I know you just did your clip of stats, but I've got some things in my back pocket. I also want to talk about how this game is probably going to go down when they actually kick it off at 3 o'clock on Sunday, and so much more. So everybody, we'll be right back. All right, everybody. This goes out to my fantasy football fans out there. Now, you probably heard about Reality Sports Online, the most powerful fantasy sports platform where owners can build and manage their fantasy team like a real NFL general manager. But the question is, have you tried it? I mean, we're talking free agency, multi-year contracts, rookie drafts, multi-team trades. You can put franchise tags on guys. It's as close as you're going to get to being an NFL GM. But do you think it sounds complicated? It's not. I'm here to tell you it's the best thing about Reality Sports Online is it's just more fun than your normal fantasy league, but it doesn't take barely any more time. After all this, are you still not sure? I mean, come on now. You can test your general manager skills by going over to Reality Sports Online, call it RSO. Please go check out realitysportsonline.com right now. Kool-Aid drinkers back from the break. I already said before, thank you so much. I always say that after we come back from the break, before we get back into it again. Big shout outs to Young Santa, Tuna, C Mill, Cornbread Jerry, Bo DeFrisco. I mean, goodness, how many more people I got to name just off the top of my head? Shout out to Lexi Go Blue, Mike in the NYC. I mean, Keith in Puerto Rico. I don't give Keith enough love. He's down in Puerto Rico. He's always on Twitter machine shouting us out, pumping up the Lions. Love all that. Frank Ribble, we got his drop in as we have on multiple shows. Shout out to Paul Jackson in Tampa. He's probably getting ready for the new XFL, USFL, US whatever season. He loves that for whatever reason. Tommy Lyon is out there doing his thing. So, Choppy, we could shout out the Detroit Kool-Aid drinkers all day, every day. But we got playoff football to talk about. So, one big thing I had off the top of my head is like Tampa Bay, like most NFL teams, they like to tell you how they're going to stop the run. They got to stop the run first. You hear everyone say that. They've done a pretty good job of that in previous years or in general. They have some big bodies that can do that. We have guys like Demo and Gibbs Gone Wild that can do some things. So I'm not too worried about it. I know in the first matchup, that's the other thing I want to bring up. We already beat this team. We went to their house and we beat them without some of our main pieces with injuries. So I don't know where this bula is coming from. Oh, it's very hard to beat someone twice. It is, because like normally if I'm playing you in hoops and I whooped you the first time in one-on-one, I don't know why I think you're going to come back and just take it to me. I feel like I'm going to do similar things I did in the first matchup. I'm going to beat you again, probably 21-10. just like the Lions are hoping to do in this ball game. So the long and short of it is, like, I think they're going to run the football better. Again, 6.5, 7-point spread in Vegas, over under at 48 and a hook right now. It feels like Lions are favored. You know, they got one of those classic 27-21 type ball games is kind of what they're looking at. I feel like if we can run the ball a little better, be offensive line minded, and still wing it around the yard. Don't forget that J-Mo had a big deep catch in that first matchup. Like, feeling still good about our Lions, this matchup, and the type of mojo and moxie that we got heading into this football game.
Oakley, do you realize that this daunting Tampa Bay offense that everyone seems to be afraid of, they put up 6 points against us at home when we came and played them, okay? 6. Woo-wee, 6. Yeah, boy. Baker Mayfield went off for 200 yards and a pick. And my boy, JG16, hashtag golf train, went off for 353 yards and 2 tugs. Okay?
You don't get to join the golf train. You're off, bro. You're off.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Did you see the press conference where Dan Campbell used that line? I loved it. You don't get to join the Lions train, and he kept the expletive off because he's a professional.
So basically, you're saying he listens to the pod chops.
Just saying, isn't that your thing?
that is my thing. I use that much more on Twitter than I do here on the pod, but just saying, you know what I mean? But you came at me like, man, Dan Campbell has the pod on his iPhone. Dan Campbell's waking up with his coffee, listen to the DKC, and I can't argue with that. The only argument I have before you continue your rant and whatever other stats you have in your back pocket is if you're going to type out the choppy gimmicks, especially the golf train that we play all the time on this show, you have to get all of the syntax and all of the way that it goes down correctly. So let me just remind you how it goes next time you try to type it out for the people. And when JP1077 that is, gives us a hashtag golf train Lions train graphic to go along. It goes like this.
You don't get to join the golf train. You're off, bro. You're off.
You're off, bro. You're off. That's the funniest part, is the ending and the beeping and the you yelling and the whole thing. But that's my only thing. If you're going to do gimmicks on Twitter, you got to nail them. You got to get them exactly correct.
You have a limited amount of characters to get the gimmicks in there. So, but yes, JP 1077. Appreciate the love. The Lions train that you put out there was amazing. Appreciated the tag too, and all the followers that came along with it. So, obviously just such a good dude, always representing the show, representing you, representing me, representing the Lions. It's just good stuff. So, but yeah. So again, let's get back at it, man. I am drinking the Kool-Aid. So I agree with you. Like this whole, they're tough to beat twice. Look, we beat them once, and we had a lot of injuries that game. Our leading rusher was Craig Reynolds. Okay. So I am not concerned about this. I'm on Ross St. Brown, ARSB. I'm sure we can get the other stash in the ATL drop here in a minute. This dude's going to go off for over 100 yards and at least 1 touchdown. Okay. D-Money is going to go bananas, and your boy Jahmyr Gibbs is going to go nuts too. Like, this is going to be, we're an offensive juggernaut. And don't forget, Sam Laporta and all of his Laporta supporters, he's got another week of being healthy. He was able to play, but now he's feeling even better. So this offense is going to click and go off. All right. You kind of started getting into, where we're at, what's Vegas saying, over under set at 48, way too low. Hashtag chops lock of the week. Take the over. Okay. It started out as the 4-point favorite. Now it's moving to almost a tug. All right. Vegas, don't lie. There's a reason why this is moving. Okay. We're 65% on the matchup predictor to win this game. I think that's even a little low. So I don't want to hear any more Tampa Bay love. I don't want to hear about any things we got to be looking forward to. All I need to hear about is why our team is better, and you're going to come into our house. We're going to kick your ass.
So what you're saying, to summarize, is no kudos for Tampa Bay.
None. All you get to do is poo-poo on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Because all of what they're saying down in Tampa is boola, boola. Am I right?
That's exactly right.
Here's one thing. Again, I got to circle back to your take. I want to remind everybody to go check out Notorious DET and all his great shirts. There is now a Laporta Supportas t-shirt, as well as Dan Campbell, Stone Cold. I mean, he's got any kind of Brad Holmes merch that you want. You got to go check him out. Chops, you also mentioned our wide receiver, who I keep wondering, how does he keep stacking catches, yards, touchdowns, game-winning plays? And you guys know who that is, right? Right, Stash?
I'm a run.
This guy every single week is just an absolute rock. He's not going anywhere. He's going to get paid this offseason. He's going to be here for 8 to 10 years, and all he does is catch footballs, score touchdowns, dye his hair, dance in the end zone, loves his teammates. Absolutely love this player on so many levels. So Kool-Aid and cornbread everywhere.
I don't know, the Kool-Aid, cornbread, whatever you want to call it, man.
Exactly. Chops, let me get back in here, man, because I brought it up last game, heading into the last game, after the last game, and I said the determining factor is the Ford Field crowd. And that was never more evident than when we walked in the doors of that stadium. People were focused, they were ramped up. The minute the Detroit Lions got introduced, the offense, the crowd just kept going up by decibels with every player. I mean, J-Mo got so much love. Ya boy, JG16. I've never heard it so deafening in that place before the chant started going. How'd that chant go again, Chops?
Jared Goff. Jared Goff. Something like that, but a lot louder.
I was shocked that someone other than you started that, but you and me definitely joined in. That was incredible to get whoever got that going, and so many multiple times throughout the game. But that crowd made all the difference, man. I just remember not being able to hear myself think, the place shaking, just people pointing and yelling, and you had your voice going the whole game, man, no matter what down it was. Anytime the opponents had the football. And that's going to be exactly what this football game is going to be. 4 quarters of absolute hell for the opponent. Yelling, craziness, whooping it up. And then when our team gets the football, we quiet down. We let them do their thing, which is bing, bam, boom down the football field. And score touchdowns. I mean, am I right or am I right, Dan Miller?
Touchdown, 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 Detroit Lions.
That'll probably be the first quarter right there in recap. But I'm feeling great about the crowd. I'm feeling good about our offense. I feel like our defense has enough swag with CJ, GJ back there making plays. And everybody, if you even think about asking CJ, GJ if we're a threat in the playoffs, I would warn you not to do so based on this.
Do you guys feel like you're a threat in the playoffs?
That's the dumbest question. You know we're a threat. Come on, man.
That's the dumbest question. Come on, man. Oh, my goodness. That's going to maybe be 3 different drops when I'm all said and done with it. But we have our swagger back between him, Kerbo, all our rushers, people doing things on defense. So I'm absolutely loving it. So, Chops, what else you got for this ball game? I mean, can your boy sling it around the yard? He's got a few spirals in him. Is he going to be able to dot up this defense, or are we going to just run it, throw it enough, and score enough TDs to just cruise to this game? What do you think?
Before I get into that, Oakery, listen, I want to add on to your Ford Field point. We need, Ford Field's got to bring it again. Don't let game 2 be any less than what game 1 was. Okay. You got to bring it. We got to get it to the crowd. I expect every person in a Tampa Bay jersey to get booed in the concourse, on the field, in the streets, anywhere. Boo this man if you see a Tampa jersey inside of Ford Field. And you need to chant Jared Goff again and again and again, okay? Let's keep this rolling. He's good enough for Detroit, all right? And we loved our man. And speaking of our man, the hashtag Goff train is rolling, people, okay? It is ready to go. This guy is a stud. in winter months. He's ready to go. I expect for him to go for over 350 yards in 3 tugs this week in Ford Field against Tampa Bay. Okay, we scored 113 more points than the Bucs did this season. 113.
Woo!
7 points per game more than on average. Let's keep it rolling. Keep the drops. Let me give you a real one. Woo!
Oh man, incredible stuff by you, Chops. I think your boy is playing so well. This guy, he's becoming a legend here in Detroit. We might even have to give this drop to JG16, the way he's playing and the confidence and swagger he has.
Just happens to be a kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun.
That might be reserved for JG16 Jared Goff now, the classic Ric Flair promo. But yeah, man, I'm hoping he threw it around nice in the first matchup. I think we'll be able to run it better. I mean, D-Mo, Gibby Gibb doing his thing. Like, I feel like we have a great run and pass mix right now. There's no reason we can't do anything we want on offense. And Chops, I don't do this much, man, but I pulled up the old PFF. I still do work for them on the side. I respect what they do. They, have a lot of people working real hard to put out their grades, their metrics, all that stuff. I'm not a big analytics guy, but, do some video work and whatnot with them. But I pulled up the old PFF, man, and get some of these rankings. Tampa Bay, just their team ranks in general, 24th overall in the National Football League. Offense, with all those ball players I told you about, young players, guys that have been doing it for a while at a high level, 21st in offense. Hold on, I'm not done. 24th in defense with all those ballers I told you about. 24th. That last time I checked, that's toward the bottom third, bottom 20% of the league. And then in special teams, that's the thing that everybody else makes a big deal about and that I always say I don't care about. Dan Campbell acts like it's the best, most incredible thing ever. They're 28th in special teams. You want to hear what the Detroit Lions are, John? 5th overall. 2nd on offense. 18th on defense. And 12th in special teams when it comes to PFF grades and metrics. We are smashing them in every one of those categories. We have more moxie than them. We have more swagger. It's in our house. We have more ball players. We have more ball hawks. Even though you said they have more turnovers. Like, I feel we need to impose our will both on the field with our home crowd and get this done, man. So I'm fired up about it. I think everybody there is just going to be incredible. The city is just so ready for the Packers come here or us to go to San Fran, but you got to take care of business first. It's the National Football League. Anything can happen on any given Sunday, but let's protect the football, take care of business, and play brand new Lions ball and get this done.
Oh, Creed, the one thing that you will not find on PFF that I think is a huge, huge advantage for the Lions is coaching. Okay, you got Dan freaking Campbell versus Todd Bowles. Okay, like Dan freaking Campbell, the alpha male, the leader of men, the I will run through a brick wall for this man, leading this team against Todd Bowles. Okay, like this cannot be understated. All right. This team will do whatever Dan Campbell tells them to do. I love that he stayed aggressive. He kept the same mentality from the regular season leading into the playoffs, and he's going to continue to do it again this week. I don't expect a whole lot of 4th downs that we're going to need to go for because I think we're just going to roll this team on offense, but he's going to continue to stay aggressive. He's going to put the kicker in his back pocket, and he's going to run the ball. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to go for it, okay? Yeah, you know what? It's 4th and 1 on the 3-yard line. We're going for it, okay? Like, he's going to shove the ball down your throat. He's going to make you stop us, okay? Tell me one thing that Todd Bowles does really well that imposes his will, that makes you scared of that man He's no Ben Genius, okay? He's no Leader of Men and Aaron Glenn. Like, he's sure as hell not MCDC, Metallica, Ride the Lightning, Dan freaking Campbell. So what about Todd Bowles scares you? Anything?
Do you think Todd Bowles would say something like this?
We're going to bite a kneecap off. We're going to smile at you. We're going to take your other kneecap. We're going to smile at you. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. We're going to be the last one standing. All right? That's going to be the mentality.
That's the mentality, Todd Bowles. Here in Detroit, we're trying to be the last one standing. We're 3 football games away from doing that. Todd Bowles is the guy that I want as my neighbor, maybe in my church small group, maybe a guy that's the Boy Scout leader for your kids. Any of those would be applicable, but I don't want him as my alpha head coach. Okay, he can draw up things on the grease board. Congratulations. Oh, I'm sure he's very respected in the National Football League, what he's done. But I've also seen him get fired at multiple places. I see him at the podium. He's scared. He puts no fear in me whatsoever. Dan Campbell's on one right now. He's feeling himself. He's confident. He's fired up on cappuccinos and double latte espressos, and he's ready to come in here and have his team bully some people. And like I said, I throw the rankings out, throw out all the players I named earlier. We're ready to push around Tampa Bay, do what we want to do, create a few turnovers, win that battle, you win football games. And at the end of the day, regardless, it's time for our prediction segment. But I would like the Detroit Lions to score 1 more point than Tampa Bay. That's all they need to do. But they're going to score way more than 1 point, Choppy, because I'm going to go ahead and give this one 31 for the Lions. Give Baker Mayfield. Give him 20. Give me 31-20. I'm taking it 11. I even wanted to be a little more disrespectful and give him like 14, 17. I could even got crazy with the Lions score because they're indoors and your boy's probably going to throw it all around. We're going to run it whenever we want to. But give me a comfortable 31-20 win. People going crazy, ready for whatever happens in the other game, ready for anyone that wants to face the Lions for the NFC Championship the following week. Let's go. Drink it in. Double-sided cornbread. That's what I'm talking about.
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread.
When we're talking about predictions, Okri, the only thing that pops up in my head as I'm sitting here thinking about this is the clip from Rocky 3 where they ask Clubber Lang, what is your prediction? And he looks straight into the camera. He rips the mic from the guy and he goes, pain. That is the prediction for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. We are going to smash mouth Baker Mayfield all day long. And this offense, which, by the way, forced 15 missed tackles in a game against the Rams, is going to do the exact same thing against this vaunted, quote-unquote, Tampa Bay defense. We are going to win this game 45-21. Okay, absolute blowout. Our game was the only game that was close last weekend, and our game is not going to follow that track this week in Ford Field. We are going to blow out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay? I'm trying to think of some derogatory to call them the Buccaneers, the swashbucklers or something like that, but everything else I can think of is not appropriate for this family-rated show, okay? We are going to take the TB Bucs, and they're going to walk their butts back to Tampa with their heads down. Baker Mayfield might have to go home in a stretcher or the back of an ambulance because we're going to beat his ass down, okay? 45-21, okay? Woo-wee! And when we're going to do that, it will be the first time that our Lions have won two playoff games in a season since the year we won the championship in 1957. Okay? It is going to happen, people. And when we win this game, we will know what our fate will be because the matchup that we need ahead of time is being played on Saturday. So we will know. And when we beat down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, whether we're hosting another one, give me another one in Ford Field, or if we're going to go out to San Francisco and we're going to end the season back over there before the Super Bowl, beating down the 49ers, just like we did to start the season when we went over there and we beat up the former Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, in game 1, okay? Game 19 in San Francisco, I don't care. Game 19 here in Ford Field, give me that against Green Bay. It doesn't matter because we're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to Vegas, and it starts again right here this Sunday, 3 p.m. against the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Chops, you said it. We're fired up. The summary of what you just said is we're beating the Tampa Bay Sucks. We're taking care of business. There is parties in Detroit again on Sunday. And then we don't care. We can head out to the West Coast and take on San Francisco. The Cheddarheads from Green Bay can come to the D if they want some. But like you said, a big-time matchup that following week with the chance to go to the big dance. That's right. The Lions shocking the world and going to the Super Bowl in Vegas. Chops, give the people what they want one more time with one of your classic drops.
Woo! Hashtag Jabby Likey.
Everybody, that's what we got. Enjoy this ball game. Get hype. Got to play good ball. Going to get this dub. And we'll talk about it all next week with another double dip of that Koolaid Cast right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. We're out.
I'm like, that's Baker Mayfield right there. Baker. Yeah. I just want to let you know. He sucks, okay? Yeah, there you go. Mark it down.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield. He sucks.
Give me a hell yeah! Oh, hell yeah! And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions. Drink it in, man.